Hello again, Celtic supporters. The Green and White Army is restless, and the talk across Glasgow right now revolves around one thing and one thing only. Who's going to take charge of Celtic Football Club next? The international break has come at a strange time, leaving the fans with nothing but speculation, rumors, and the constant refresh of social media feeds. It's been over 2 weeks since Brendan Rodgers handed in his resignation, and since then the board has been quiet. Too quiet, if we're honest. The only thing we've been told is that the process of appointing a new permanent manager is underway. And that's it. Since then, the silence from Celtic Park has been deafening, and the supporters are desperate for answers. Martin O'Neill has stepped in as caretaker, taking charge of a handful of games. And to be fair, he's done all right. The results have been solid, the players seem focused, and the dressing room looks steady enough. But even O'Neill himself has admitted he doesn't know what's happening next. When asked whether he'd still be in the dugout for the Street Mirren match later this month, he said he genuinely didn't know, that someone at the club would have to let him know what's going on soon. So, if even the man in charge is in the dark, you can imagine how the supporters are feeling right now. It's a mixture of uncertainty and curiosity, with just a bit of cautious excitement, because slowly but surely, we're starting to see signs that Celtic might be moving closer to an appointment. Over the last few days, reports from different corners have started to pick up momentum. A few names have popped up repeatedly, and one name in particular seems to be making waves. Wilfried Nancy, the current head coach of Columbus Crew in the MLS. According to a report from Sky Sports, Nancy has emerged as a real candidate for the Celtic job, appearing on a shortlist that also includes Bodo/Glimps Kjetil Knutsen and Ipswich Town's Kieran McKenna. The list doesn't stop there. There's also mention of Craig Bellamy, currently with Wales, Club Brugge's Nicky Hyen, and Robbie Keane at Ferencváros. It's clear that Celtic are casting their net wide, looking at both European and overseas options. Reports suggest the shortlist might have as many as 8 names, which means the club is leaving no stone unturned. The Wilfried Nancy link has raised plenty of eyebrows. At first glance, it seems like a left-field choice, similar to when Ange Postecoglou arrived a few years ago. Most of us hadn't even heard of Ange back then, but that story turned into something special, didn't it? Nancy's path is not too different in spirit. A coach with strong ideas, impressive man management, and a playing philosophy that focuses on attacking football and building from the back. He's French, born and raised, and moved to Canada in his late 20s to play and eventually coach. His rise has been steady, working through the youth ranks at Montreal Impact before becoming assistant and later head coach. After a successful spell there, he moved to Columbus Crew, where he's had nothing short of an excellent run. At Columbus, Nancy has become known for his meticulous style and the confidence he gives to his players. He plays a 3-4-3 system, built around short passing and possession under pressure. Not exactly what you associate with typical MLS football, but it's been working wonders. His team doesn't just play for results, they play with identity. Under Nancy, Columbus Crew won the MLS Cup, which for those unfamiliar, is essentially the championship title after the playoff series. He also led them to victory in the League's Cup, a tournament featuring top teams from the United States and Mexico. Individually, he was named MLS Coach of the Year, which tells you everything about the impression he's made across the Atlantic. Still, for Celtic supporters, the big question is whether his success in North America can translate to the Scottish game. We've seen before that footballing ideas can travel, and prove that, but it's always a gamble. Nancy hasn't managed in Europe, and while that might be a red flag for some, others will see it as an opportunity for fresh energy. There's something about the way he speaks, the way he leads, that feels familiar. He's calm, focused, and clearly intelligent. In one of his interviews, after winning the MLS Cup, he said, "Impossible is an opinion." That's the kind of mentality Celtic fans love. Someone who sees challenges as opportunities, who values vision and connection over just results. He told his players that what made him proud wasn't just the trophy, but the fact they did it playing their way. If that doesn't sound like something that fits the Celtic ethos, I don't know what does. Of course, this is still just speculation. There's been no official word, and as far as we know, Nancy remains under contract at Columbus. The timing is interesting, though. Their season has just ended, which naturally opens the door for talks if both parties are interested. And with the connection between Nancy's assistant, Wami Ampadu, and Celtic consultant Paul Tisdale, it's easy to see how this could turn into something real. The two know each other well, have worked together before, and even share a link through Ethan Ampadu, who got his professional debut thanks to Tisdale. When you start to connect the dots, it suddenly doesn't seem so far-fetched. But Nancy isn't the only name in the mix. Kjetil Knutsen continues to be mentioned heavily. The Norwegian coach of Bodo/Glimt has built something remarkable up north, turning his club into a powerhouse despite their small budget. Celtic fans will remember his sides from European meetings, the organization, the energy, the crisp attacking play. Knutsen is a proven winner in Scandinavia, and his reputation as a developer of players fits what Celtic often look for. The main hurdle might be whether he actually wants to leave. He's turned down big opportunities before, including Ajax, and seems very happy where he is. His current contract runs out soon, but he doesn't sound too worried about it. Celtic would need to convince him not only to come, but to believe that the board will back him properly. And that's no small task given the current tension between fans and the hierarchy. Then there's Kieran McKenna, a name that keeps coming up. He's young, talented, and has built an exciting team at Ipswich Town. He knows British football inside out and has shown that he can build teams that play modern, high-tempo football. He's also got that personal connection, a known Celtic supporter growing up, something that always sparks interest among fans. But he's on a long contract and would cost serious money. Celtic would need to pay several million to buy him out, and while the club can afford it, the question is whether they will. Given how much they've hesitated to spend on player transfers lately, splashing that kind of cash on a manager seems optimistic. Beyond those three, there are still a few names floating around: Robbie Keane, Craig Bellamy, and even Brian Barry Murphy, who's currently managing Cardiff. Some of those links feel more like media filler than serious candidates, but at this stage, nothing can be ruled out. There's also the possibility that Celtic could stick with Martin O'Neill for a bit longer, especially if results stay positive through November. He's experienced, respected, and knows the club inside out. The word is that he's set to meet Dermot Desmond this week to discuss his future. It's not out of the question that he could be asked to steady the ship until the end of the season while the board waits for their preferred long-term candidate. What's certain is that the next appointment will shape Celtic's future for years to come. The fans want someone who brings attacking football, passion, and purpose, someone who can restore belief and energy to the stands. It's not just about tactics or style, it's about leadership. The right manager can lift a club, change the atmosphere, and make every match day feel alive again. That's what everyone is craving. The shadow of Brendan Rodgers' departure still hangs over the club, but in that shadow there's also hope. Hope that the next chapter could be one of renewal, of rediscovery, of unity. Because at Celtic, that's what it's always been about: heart, vision, and the unbreakable spirit of the fans who never stop singing. As the speculation continues to swirl, the mood around Celtic Park is one of anxious patience. Supporters are refreshing their phones, scanning every rumor, every whisper, every leaked report that might hint at the direction the club is heading. What everyone really wants is clarity, but clarity is something Celtic have rarely offered during moments like this. The board seems determined to take its time, and while that patience might make sense in a corporate meeting room, it doesn't sit well with a fan base that bleeds green and white and expects ambition to match its passion. Every day that passes without an announcement only fuels more questions. Is the board truly exploring all options? Or are they simply waiting for the right deal to present itself? Are they looking for another long-term visionary, like Ange Postecoglou, who can revolutionize the squad and the culture? Or are they leaning toward a safer, short-term option, someone who knows British football, can steady the ship, and deliver immediate results? There's a tension between those two visions of what Celtic should be, and that tension has existed for years. The fans have seen both approaches before: the bold gamble that paid off with Ange, and the cautious hires that left everyone feeling stuck in the past. Wilfried Nancy continues to generate serious discussion. The more people learn about him, the more intriguing he becomes. His football is built on fluid movement, quick transitions, and a belief that players should express themselves on the pitch. He's not the type to shout on the sidelines or dominate the headlines. Instead, he lets his work do the talking. He speaks about respect, about connection, about creating something lasting. That kind of personality might be exactly what Celtic need at a time when unity feels fragile. The boardroom tension, the supporter frustration, and the pressure of constant scrutiny can eat away at even the strongest managers. But someone who can keep calm and communicate clearly might just be what the club requires to reset the tone. At the same time, fans are right to wonder if someone like Nancy understands what it means to manage Celtic. It's not just a football job. It's a cultural institution, a constant noise, a never-ending expectation to win and entertain. It's a world away from the MLS, where success is measured differently and media intensity is nowhere near the same level. The Scottish Premiership, despite its flaws, is unforgiving. Every draw feels like a crisis. Every defeat turns into a debate about direction, and every decision is picked apart by pundits and supporters alike. Whoever takes over must not only bring ideas, but also thick skin and total conviction. Kjetil Knutsen's name still lingers, and for many, he represents the ideal balance between modern tactics and European pedigree. His Bodo/Glimt side are admired across the continent for their fearless approach, and he has turned local players into stars through a clear system and discipline. Yet it remains to be seen whether he would leave his comfort zone. Knutsen has been loyal to his club through offers that might have tempted others, and there's a feeling that he values environment and control over money or fame. For Celtic to convince him, they need to present a long-term project where he can truly shape the footballing identity, something the club has promised before, but often failed to deliver. Then there's the wild card element, the possibility that the board has someone entirely different in mind, someone who hasn't even been mentioned in the media yet. That wouldn't be new for Celtic. When Ange Postecoglou was appointed, most fans were left scrambling to Google his name. The same could happen again. It's both exciting and unnerving, because Celtic's last few years have shown how unpredictable the club can be. The hope is that whoever comes in understands not just the game, but the soul of the club, the idea that Celtic aren't just chasing trophies, but embodying a style and a spirit that stretches back generations. Martin O'Neill's short spell back on the touchline has at least provided some stability. Players who looked shaken after Rodgers' departure seem more settled now. The football hasn't been sparkling, but it's been professional, and sometimes that's what's needed during a storm. The question is whether he's a genuine option to stay longer or simply a caretaker until the board finalizes negotiations. He's a respected figure, and many fans would have no problem with him holding the reins until summer, as long as there's a clear plan behind the scenes. The last thing anyone wants is a repeat of the uncertainty that followed Neil Lennon's second spell, a sense of drift that cost Celtic momentum at crucial moments. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Scotland's footballing community is abuzz this week with whispers that have sent shockwaves through the Premiership and beyond. In what insiders are calling a staggering move by the global governing body, FIFA has allegedly stripped Celtic of a major title, sparking outrage among fans, pundits, and former players alike. Sources close to the club insist that the decision was handed down quietly, with little explanation, leaving many scratching their heads and questioning the integrity of the process. The rumor mill began spinning after reports emerged of a confidential meeting in Zurich, where top FIFA officials reportedly reviewed documentation tied to Celtic's recent championship campaign. Though specifics remain murky, murmurs suggest allegations of irregularities, potentially involving registration paperwork or compliance with international rules, prompted the body to act decisively. Neither Celtic nor FIFA have released a formal statement, but social media has erupted with speculation, with fans flooding forums and Twitter accounts, desperate for clarity. Longtime observers of Scottish football point out that this is an unprecedented situation. While other clubs across Europe have faced fines, point deductions, or temporary bans, stripping a title after it's been celebrated on the terraces is almost unheard of. "It's shocking," said one ex-player, speaking on condition of anonymity. Celtic supporters are passionate, and for the trophy to be taken away like this, well, it's bound to leave a bitter taste. If it's true, it sets a worrying precedent for clubs everywhere. Meanwhile, Celtic insiders are said to be scrambling to understand the ruling. combing through years of records and consulting legal teams. The board is reportedly considering an appeal, though sources caution that overturning FIFA's decision may be a long and complex battle. Meanwhile, rival fans are already having a field day, poking fun at the situation, though the mood in Glasgow remains tense, with chants of support for the boys echoing in pubs and streets. Whether this turns out to be a short-lived storm of speculation or the beginning of a major saga, one thing is certain. Scottish football has rarely seen a controversy of this magnitude. As whispers continue to circulate, supporters are left anxiously waiting for the next twist in what might just become one of the most talked-about scandals in Celtic's history. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.